But similar gatherings were held around the world, including New York, demonstrating how One Direction's music has resonated with young fans internationally.
Something bad is going to happen. He called my mom. I think I'm not going to be around much longer.
Liam Payne's case keeps spiraling out of control. But of all the heartbreaking and downright chilling details that have surfaced, nothing tops his ex, Maya Henry's shocking revelation. I mean, what are the odds that Maya practically predicted Liam's fate, down to the tragic moment on that balcony? Since Liam's death, Maya has been all over the headlines, but this latest twist is beyond shocking. And now word is that she's even fled the country after people started connecting the dots. Y'all, there is a lot to unpack here, and so without any further ado, let's get right into it.
One Directioners, Liam Payne supporters, it doesn't matter who we are, where you come from, it's the love we all share for the person.
It's like not knowing the person personally, but I think it was when like YouTube blew up, and so it was the first time that you were ever able to follow someone's life so intimately.
Been crying at work all day, every day.
To give you an idea of just how creepy this is, here is a snippet from Maya's book. He stands outside in the dark London night, sobbing and unsteady, the handrail only a few feet away. And below that is the cold, hard pavement. I watch in horror as he sways a bit, unsteady on his feet, inching ever closer to the railing. He has to stop, I think. I have to stop him. As y'all most definitely already know, not only has Liam's death become a global moment, but the whole thing has taken an entirely new turn. But as investigations and arrests were happening in Argentina, back home, a storm was brewing for Liam's estranged ex-girlfriend, Maya Henry. We now have a super disturbing novel with which, while it is fiction, Maya made it clear that it was inspired by real-life events. But before we dive into the novel, let's talk about some of these so-called real-life events, and guys, you won't believe this. All right, let's rewind all the way back to the beginning. Maya and Liam's story began in 2015 with a completely random fan encounter at a One Direction meet and greet. Maya wasn't even a fan at first, she was just tagging along for her friend's birthday. Little did she know this random day would become the first chapter in a love story with a dark twist. Years passed and Maya probably assumed she'd move on like any fan, but fate had other plans. Fast forward to a fashion show in Lake Como, and this time, Maya wasn't just a fan. She was a model in the spotlight while Liam performed at an exclusive after party. This unlikely reunion sparked the start of a relationship that felt almost like a fairy tale. By the end of 2019, Liam proposed after only a few months. And just like that, Maya went from fan to fiance of a global pop star. But as you'd expect, what looked like a dream from the outside was hiding some deep cracks. The pressures of being in the public eye weighed heavily on Maya, who was completely new to this kind of spotlight. Fans dug into her past, fueled conspiracy theories, and even accused her family of manipulating Liam. Would you believe that people even said that Maya's dad propped her to date Liam? And while that public scrutiny was tough, the real heartbreak was happening behind the scenes. According to Maya, as their engagement wore on, Liam's behavior changed. Behind closed doors, his struggles with sobriety clashed with a darker side he rarely let the world see. When sober, Liam was the caring, grounded guy Maya fell for. But when he wasn't, things took a disturbing turn. But trouble soon hit the couple as Liam's addiction issues became an excuse for his behavior. And he manipulated Maya into staying, saying he needed her help. She even revealed how he'd send her desperate messages hinting at self-harm, or worse if she ever tried to leave. He used her empathy to keep her in a cycle of guilt and control, even going as far as contacting her family to get her back in his orbit.
Because he would always message me ever since we broke up, like, oh, I'm not well. He would always play with death and be like, well, I'm gonna die. I'm not doing well.
Their relationship was a painful mix of love and manipulation. And when it finally ended, it left Maya with scars that eventually bled onto the pages of her novel.
He would text my mom, I'm not doing well, have Maya contact me, because I wouldn't respond. And it's just always the same cycle. Like, for example, when I announced my book, he did the same thing. He called my mom, I think I'm not gonna be around much longer. And I don't play with death. So I'm like, if you say this, I'm gonna try and help you no matter what you've done. And I think he took advantage of my family's kindness. And I was like, if if you want to go back to rehab, I'll help you.
But here's where it gets eerie. There are shocking similarities between the tragic events in her book and what actually happened with Liam. It's almost as if Maya predicted Liam's fate down to his final moments on that balcony. Since Liam's passing, Maya has been trending, but now that people are digging into her book, they are finding fictional clues that feel all too real. And word is, she's fled the country to escape the rising questions.
I know the lifestyle he lives, and there is a day where something bad is going to happen. So I would always be like, okay, he's saying these things. I have to help him, because if I don't, I will never be able to live with myself if something does happen to him.
Maya said on a podcast that Liam had a way of talking about his life that almost sounded like he was playing with the idea of death long before the final balcony incident, and that he had hinted at this on way too many occasions. Even his messages to her after they had permanently parted ways were dark, twisted, and the only message that he ever communicated was that he felt things were heading towards something tragic. Also, ironically enough, this podcast dropped just 2 days before his accident. In the podcast episode, Maya talked about her role in Liam's life, how she felt this intense responsibility to help him, and that these were the messages he kept drilling in her when they were dating. That it took her so long to leave because she would always feel guilty about leaving someone in distress. She said she'd always think, if I don't step in, what happens if he actually? And the rest, well, she didn't need to finish that thought.
There was one time I tried to get him help, and then he was like, not taking it.
So while Maya's life with Liam might have seemed like a fairy tale, let me tell you, she painted a totally different picture after their split up. Their romance was apparently a ticking time bomb, and even though they had their dreamy moments, there were also those dark times when Maya was practically begging him to seek help. And still, there was this undercurrent of fear of what might actually happen if he didn't. But y'all, here is the craziest part of all of this. Maya didn't just say it. She went on to write about it in a novel. That is right. She penned a story so close to her reality with Liam that it's got fans wondering, was she trying to send us all a message? And with that, let's look into the details of this said novel. So, as I had mentioned earlier, Maya's book titled Looking Forward, which she says was inspired by true events, follows a model named Mallory, who falls head over heels for a pop star called Oliver, from a boy band called 5 Forward. Sounds familiar already, right? In Looking Forward, Mallory meets Oliver at 18, the exact same age Maya was when she first got with Liam. She's thrown into this glamorous but toxic whirlwind where the highs are dizzying and the lows are downright dark. But then there's this one scene, and y'all, it is beyond chilling. Towards the end of the book, Mallory comes home to find Oliver standing on their London balcony, and he is not himself. He's pacing, shouting, like he has just lost it. Maya describes him as being in this uncontrollable spiral, the kind where you can't think straight and where the world feels like it's crumbling. She writes about Oliver stumbling, inching closer to the edge of the balcony, and the only thing separating him from the cold, hard ground below is a flimsy handrail. An excerpt reads, "Oliver, I say, please come back inside. Go away, Mal," he barks. "I'm going to die, so get the F out of here. Just come in for a second," I say, fighting to keep my voice calm. I mean, what are you doing out there anyway? And then, in a heart-stopping moment, Oliver yells at Mallory saying, "What the F do you think I'm doing?" He bellows, loud enough for half the town to hear. "I'm going to effing kill myself, okay? I want to die." He says it with this wild intensity, like he means every single word. Maya's character, Mallory, stands frozen, watching in horror as he inches closer to the edge, swaying like he's about to slip any second. You feel her panic, her fear that he's really about to go through with it. I had asked y'all in the beginning, and I'll ask again, what are the odds that Maya practically predicted Liam's fate down to the tragic moment on that balcony? This now sounds like a broken record, but let me just put it out there for that one person who is always a whole season behind on everything. Liam Payne fell from a hotel balcony in Buenos Aires. He had reportedly been struggling, maybe under the influence, and his room was destroyed. I'm talking shattered glass, smashed TVs, broken furniture, the same chaos that Oliver leaves behind in Maya's book. It's like fiction and reality merged in the most tragic way possible. Not only that, in the novel, Oliver isn't just dealing with fame. He's battling these dark struggles with substances, and they push him into these self-destructive spirals. He's lashing out, throwing things, screaming. Mallory tries to hold him back, to pull him inside, but he's too far gone. Now remember, even the Hotel 911 said that Liam had been off his head that day, acting erratically and lashing out in a way that shockingly mirrors Oliver's breakdown. And one more coincidence, in looking forward, the chaos doesn't end there. When Mallory tries to intervene, Oliver smashes a TV with an axe, shatters a chandelier, and the broken glass even cuts her. It's this violent scene that leaves Mallory in shock, and more than anything, scared. She describes Oliver as ranting and pacing, screaming out of control and calling her names, one second yelling, the next second sobbing like a broken person. It's chaotic and raw, and it's terrifyingly close to what happened with Liam in that hotel room. Again, remember in the Buenos Aires incident, the TV in Liam's room was found smashed. Interestingly, Mallory, Maya's character, doesn't call for help. And that's yet another thing we need to talk about. You see, Maya had attracted a lot of pushback when she was dating Liam, but she even had more haters after their breakup when she started speaking up about her experiences. Upon releasing her book, and even after Liam's death, the whole internet is buzzing, asking why Maya didn't do more, why she didn't sound the alarm for everyone to hear. But relationships are messy, y'all, and you never know if someone is being dead ass or just going through a rough patch. And Maya found herself trapped in this emotional web even after they broke up.
I know that Maya had written her lovely book about Liam, but she also done some lovely TikToks about Liam as well, didn't she? You remember the one where she went, "Why are you silent, Liam Payne? Why are you silent?" That's because you got an order against him where he wasn't allowed to say jack shit regarding you writing this book about him. You wanted him silenced. You wanted him to suffer.
In the novel, Mallory doesn't call for help because she doesn't want the tabloids to rip them apart. She just wants it to end without the world finding out. She's trying to keep things private, but inside she is drowning in fear. Eventually, Oliver's whole team, his manager, his psychiatrist, even a lawyer steps in to cover up his actions, to make sure no scandal leaks out. They just keep it all under wraps, brushing off the damage to protect Oliver's image, and it's this endless cycle of destruction, apology, and cover-ups. Now remember, Maya said that this is exactly what Liam's close associates would do. In fact, just moments before launching the book, Maya revealed that a close friend of Liam even contacted her and asked that she rethink the whole thing through because releasing that book would destroy Liam's image.
My book was coming out. Even one of his friends was calling me and my mom being like, "Oh, you know, this isn't a good time for him. I don't think you should put the book out. You know, he's not doing well. And if something happens to him, not only are you going to blame yourself, but the whole world's going to blame you." And so I was like, just the fact that they just keep trying, I'm like, it is like you said, such a low manipulation tactic.
On top of that, in real life, Maya herself has been hinting for a while that Liam had his demons, even long before this podcast interview. So when the book finally hit shelves, Maya's fans instantly saw the links. All of it felt like a shadow of what they imagined her life with Liam was like. It's like she took the reality she couldn't bear to face and turned it into fiction, trying to give herself some kind of closure. But instead, all it did was open up a Pandora's box of questions. And trust me, the book didn't pull any punches. Besides these gut-wrenching moments on the balcony, there are scenes where Oliver pressures Mallory into choices that haunt her, like pushing her to end a pregnancy she wasn't ready to give up. This is something Maya has openly discussed, that she had to get rid of a pregnancy because Liam had demanded so. Basically, the Mallory character is in this loop of being trapped by his love, his addiction, by his fame, and it's all consuming. It leaves her feeling used, broken, and lost, just like many fans suspect Maya might have felt herself. And while Liam never commented on the book, Maya's words in the interviews give us a glimpse of her pain. She's spoken about those moments where she tried to help him, tried to be the person who could save him. But deep down, she knew it was impossible. She admitted that parts of the book were fictionalized, but y'all, the emotion is all too real. As Looking Forward reaches more readers, the story is taking on a whole new meaning. It is no longer just a book. To fans, it is a chilling glimpse into a romance turned dark, a tale of love twisted by fame, addiction, addiction and secrets that never should have been hidden. And with Liam's death, it's like her story isn't just fiction anymore. It's become a haunting reminder of what happens when the pain gets too deep and there's nowhere left to turn. As always, opinions are divided. Some people are saying the fact that Maya was 18 when they started dating, while Liam was 25, in and of itself was a red flag, and that she was the one that needed help and protection, not Liam. Not to mention that Liam had equally turbulent relationships with the others that he dated both before and after Maya Henry.
I think life is about to get really messy for Liam Payne. Maya Henry, Liam's ex-fiance, is writing a novel. It is called Looking Forward, and Maya says it is a collection of journal entries that she wrote throughout the pandemic. She says on Instagram, 2020 was a very dark and scary time for all of us. I was coming off a period in my life filled with a lot of pain. There is a content warning on the book. It says this book contains sensitive materials relating to abuse, violence, self-harm, drug and alcohol use, eating disorders, and abortion. Liam and Maya started dating in 2019 when she was only 18 and he was 25, mind you, which is a red flag in itself to me. Their relationship was very tumultuous. The couple was engaged in 2020, but then broke up in 2022 after Liam was caught cheating on Maya. All of the fans thought it was Maya, and they were tagging her in this photo on Instagram. She ended up commenting on this photo saying, "I love all the fans so much, but please stop sending me pictures of my fiance wrapped around another woman. This is not me, and it's hard enough to know this even happened without seeing it." Maya announced this book was coming out yesterday, and now all of a sudden Liam is posting about his son that he never talks about, which makes me think that he knows that this book is going to be really bad for him. Like, now you want to play the loving, doting father. I see right through you. I'm not going to say that I'm excited because the content of this book is really, really dark, but I am interested to see what she has to say, and I'm very proud of her for standing up and telling her side of the story, because I feel like she's been very quiet for so many years that I think that she deserves her chance to shine and to speak. And I personally will be supporting, and I hope that everyone else does as well.
It also doesn't help that conspiracy theories are flying left and right regarding Liam's death, and there's a group of people convinced that Maya had something to do with it. To make matters even worse, both Maya and her mom have been spotted hanging out with Roger, the said friend who is now facing charges of neglect in Liam's case. It turns out Roger wasn't just a friend, as details show that he's got some eyebrow-raising connections and wealth. Also, Liam's girlfriend, Kate Cassidy, wasn't a fan of Roger because he was apparently a bad influence. Some have even alleged that he was Liam's handler.
If anybody tries to tell me again that this case was not something to do with Roger and not something to do with Maya and her family, I swear to God. Look at this. So Maya's mum posted this really nice picture on her Instagram, right? This here is Maya's mum. Don't know who this lady is. And this lady here is obviously Maya. Lady. Notice the wallpaper in the background. Notice Maya's mother's earrings, her outfit, her red lip, her hairstyle. Please tell me why Maya and her mum were at an event. Same wallpaper, same earrings, same lipstick, same everything, yeah? We're at an event. Little old Roger over here.
Now imagine such a person being spotted with Maya Henry, who's already on the receiving end. Some fans think that this wasn't just an accident. They're out here spinning theories, wondering if there's more to Liam's death than a tragic fate, or whether there was foul play. I'd love to know what you think about Maya's novel. Was it really just a coincidence, or is there something deeper going on here? I mean, the accuracy is wild. But if you thought Maya was the only one going through it right now, wait until you hear what they're doing to Liam's girlfriend, Kate Cassidy. They're now blaming 25-year-old Kate for neglecting Liam, and trust me, she's been put through the ringer. Be sure to watch that video if you haven't already, and let me tell you, saying you'll be disgusted is an understatement. See you there.